What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we highlight the latest in cybersecurity news and vulnerabilities, as well as we highlight and showcase those people of color who have made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
And LeVon Maynard.
What up?
All right, so we're doing things a little bit different. I tried to get through it. I couldn't. So we're doing things a little bit different, where we want to do things in a little bit more of a discussion format, right? At least once a week. So we just, bounce ideas off each other, talk about things, just let our expertise, our knowledge, our humor shine through. So this one is something we talk about quite frequently in the past. We haven't really talked about it in a while, but that's the Internet of Things, or IoT. So what it basically is all those smart devices in your house that you like to talk to, that clean your carpet, that pet your cat. I don't know. They just do things, right? There's a million IoT devices: your smart fridge, your microwave, your refrigerator. The list goes on and on and on and on. Thermostat. But basically, all these things are talking to the internet, but all these things are not getting patched. First, it's because a lot of it needs to be manually done, which you're not doing it at home. That's not something that you would normally do anyway. But the other thing of it is, some of them are becoming footholds for attackers, and you just never know. So I shared two articles with my co-host. One was an article from April 14th by Gene Marks of Entrepreneur, and in it's titled "A Casino Gets Hacked Through a Fish Tank Thermometer." Try to say thermostat. Thermometer. There you go. So basically, in this one, they recap a casino getting hacked back in 2018. So the reason that it takes a long time to get this stuff out there, obviously, because there's investigations and things of that nature, as well as just trying to make sure that they remediate the problem before you let the world know. So this one took a couple of years to become public, which is probably for the best. But somebody oceaned 11 a casino through their thermometer inside of a fish tank within the casino. They're able to pull the high roller list, I think was what the article said.
Yeah,
get some personal identifying information, maybe some banking information, all because no one passed the thermostat or the thermometer inside the fish tank. You know who's supposed to pass that? Nobody, because no one's ever going to think of that. But if it's smart and it talks to the network, it could potentially be a vulnerability. So think about all those things in your house that are currently talking to the internet. All of them are not being patched right now, because I shared another article. There is a ZDNet article, and I won't show me the title. These new vulnerabilities, millions of IoT devices at risk, so patch now. So for those of you who are into networking, there's the TCP/IP stack. So basically, your networking stack that has all of the IP addresses and things of that nature for your device, right? So this vulnerability falls into a couple categories. So it falls into the domain name system, so DNS. So that's what the internet doesn't talk and doesn't say google.com. It says 8.8.8.8, right? So it's the go-between your human language and machine language. That's what DNS basically does. It translates the two. The other one is a denial of service, or a DOS set of vulnerabilities. And the last one is remote code execution, or RCE. By attackers are able to basically hack in those devices and use them as botnets, or use them to pivot into your networks, things of that nature. But they're saying over 100 million customers are affected by this. And it was just discovered. So a lot of these devices will not be getting patched in the near future. Just to let you know, whether it's supposed to be manually done by you, or it's just not, the juice is not worth the squeeze. Because a lot of IoT devices use outdated IC chips or end of life parts that, because it's only serves a finite purpose. You purchase it, it does what it's supposed to do until it eventually breaks. So they don't really put a lot of work in them. But I wanted to open this up to discussion just to talk about IoT in general, some of these vulnerabilities, and just what we think of the situation.
It's an important thing. It's like
as you so eloquently described during the fish tank incident at the casino. I mean, these IoT devices are getting, you know, they're getting compromised, and they're like you said, attached to the network. And it's something that people don't even think about. They don't think about their smart fridge and all these other kind of devices that are smart toasters that are connected to the network, that are whatever they're doing. And um, you know uh, like you described, they provide a vector point, a point of access for these hackers, especially somebody's like, even hackers that are like, mobile. They're like out in the world just trying to like find hot spots, things like that. Then get close to your IoT device, and there's like some sort of vulnerability that, especially like some of these IoT devices may have like default admin passwords, and some of their like some of their like back end access, the file access or whatever. So it's like these IoT devices are, we get kind of like just maybe overconfident that the IoT device is already taken care of, and that it's like secured, and we just like add it to our network, and we don't have to, you kind of set it and forget it. As and as we see here, like the smallest thing, like a thermometer for a fish tank, could be compromised, and that can, and then the attacker can pivot from that and connect to your main infrastructure and your databases and all this other kind of stuff. So it's like I don't know, it's just one of those things that you never really think about, but it's becoming more prevalent as the time goes on, and that people have to be, I don't know, have to be aware. And I'm not sure, like a lot of times people, it's not so much like the people themselves. I mean, these IoT devices normally kind of take care of themselves. They don't normally, a lot of them don't offer like updates per se. Um, but it's up to the companies that are producing these devices to be able to make sure that they have sort of patch management, some sort of security like control mechanism. Because heaven forbid, like these companies become or these devices become compromised, and then the company's like business starts to fall, starts to fail because of their unreliability in their devices that they're selling. If you get a bunch of like, I don't know, like for example, I do have something like the Google Nest. It's like the thermostat, which is very handy for me because I can actually like go in there and just like change my temperature or whatever. I can see what the house temperature is at. But I do know that device does have like update. Uh, it kind of automatically updates, and then stays patched. But some devices that, especially some of these older devices, or if you get something like real cheap, like I don't know, I don't know if you guys have ever seen these, but they have like the light bulb, like the network connected light bulbs. So they pretty much, you can plug them in and actually connect to your network, and it's all like
Yeah.
housed in the device itself. It's not like you don't have like a base station, just like you have a network card that's right, has like a small chip or whatever network that the actual LED light can connect to your network, so you can turn lights on and off and do all kinds of stuff like that. So things like that, especially if you get them like cheap from like eBay or some other, even Amazon, uh, they probably aren't being patched. They're probably just like, here, you get this and connect it and it works. And then we are no longer supporting that after after you buy it. So it's something you got to be aware of. I mean, and you gotta weigh the benefits versus the risk in your personal like life. How much risk is it that this gets compromised and somehow gets into your network? Um, and then I think there's things you maybe can do on your own, like perhaps like, I don't know, like limit network sharing, like in your like internal like network, like you can do like on your fire, like your wireless gateway or something like that. But do you guys have some more thoughts on it as well?
So I do, and here's the thing: I'm probably the scary one here, right? But like I've always had a fear of IoT. Like I do.
Yeah.
Like I was putting this in the group chat the other day. Look, I just turned Siri on my phone. You know what I mean? Like I'm scared of what is out there listening. You know what I mean? What is out there doing different things? Like we don't have like the Google Nest or none of the Alexas or the Dots or anything like that. We don't have any of those in my house. My wife actually got one as a Christmas present, and I was like, "We're not setting that up." You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like, so maybe it's
Yeah.
twofold. I told her, I said, because sometimes we joke around and I say some things that could be misconstrued if the police were to hear them out of context. So like, so like, I've always had a healthy fear of the IoT. You know what I mean? But no, I mean it's one of those things where this is the way the world is going. Like, well, it was before COVID, but we were actually looking. for a refrigerator because we thought the fridge was on the fritz, and we were looking at different stuff that they offered. And man, these smart fridges are doing all types of stuff now. You know what I mean? Put an order in on Amazon. You know what I mean? To have it delivered in two hours or whatever, and like
Right.
it's all types of things that even me being in a cybersecurity field, like I may not even think of, you know what I mean? Like it from all the way something as small as like your Roomba or whatever, your little vacuum cleaner, right? That could connect up through, you can do that through an app, you know, to run that. There's things that I probably, my fear is that I would lose control of thinking about everything that may need to be patched, right? Like I go and I check for firmware, you know, for my router and stuff like that. I do the computers, you know, the phones. But as it starts to get to be so much, like it's just like I don't want it to be out of my span and control of control for me to think about it any one time. You know what I mean? And like you were saying, Ryan, like it could, some of this stuff, like these companies are just putting out there, and they're like, when it dies, it dies. We're not offering any updates to it. You buy it at your own risk, whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's one of those things where I've always had a healthy fear. And probably because I don't want to be arrested for saying something crazy or doing something crazy that I didn't really do, you know. So, but yeah, no, this was an interesting article. Like the fish tank thermometer, I was very interesting. When you sent that one out, I was like, wow. I was like, is that really a thing? And then as I read through the article, it was a couple years ago. So I'm thinking it's something new, and it's something from almost 3 years ago now, because it was 2018, right? That
Yeah.
they put out there in that conference he was speaking at. So I'm kind of like, wow, like I'm so far behind the times. You know what I mean? And I'm not up on everything, but I thought I would know if there was like a fish tank thermometer out there that you could. You know
Right.
what I mean? That was an attack vector to get into somebody's network. You know what I mean? But that's
Yeah.
obviously not the case. But yeah,
Right. And we're used to working in facilities where you can't bring that stuff in, right?
for
So you,
sure.
you don't bring in your IoT device to connect to the network. The network is the network. And there's almost zero trust there. However, so I'm huge into smart devices. Like I don't have as many as I want because of trying to mitigate risk. But like when we were getting the house built, I went through and I counted how many light bulb receptacles we had because I want to replace every single one with a smart bulb. Because the way the house was being built was it's a smart house or smart home where there's a panel that connects to every device that it can. So you have like virtual switches, and you can make your blinds open up and close, and your lights do all this and X, Y, and Z. And my plan, like I was actually trying to map it out. I'm a network guy by trade. Uh, the plan was to limit access to all these devices, put them in their own VLAN, buy MAC address, because every device that has a network stack has a physical address as well, right? So I was going to segregate all my traffic, and I would have like my smart stuff being one part of the network, and my other stuff being the other part of the network. And I thought all these grand schemes and plans, and I got maybe 10 devices in, and I already gave up. It's a lot of work. Like if you like, first of all, I didn't change all the light bulbs. I had one smart bulb in the entire house. And it's probably going to be the pivot point. So that's probably how they're going to get into my house, is that damn light bulb. I never
Right.
changed colors. Never change it. I had all these, like I was going to set it up where if the alarm went off, all the lights would flash red. Like I was concocting all these things because you could do all it. Like it's amazing the type of they call them scenes you can build with your smart devices. Like when I leave the house, it was going to arm itself and it's going to do X, Y, and Z. I didn't do any of that stuff, to be honest with you. Only out of sheer laziness. Like my plan is to one day do it, but you have to come in with a plan. Like you have to know, like I'm going to do these things. You have to be smart about it, because every single one of those things becomes a vulnerability. Like you said, those light bulbs. Like I think Philips makes the Hue light bulb, and I think those can be updated. But if you just buy some generic Amazon light bulb from China, you get what you get. And you don't get upset when all your lights are flashing because your neighbor hacked your house.
Mhm.
So there's a lot to it. But houses are getting smarter. Like you said, you have a Nest. I forget what mine is called, but similar concept where I can adjust the thermostat when I'm not there. Like I said, I was going to replace every single light, and I was like, first I saw the cost. If you want a good smart light bulb, they're like almost $10 a pop, but they last for 10 years. So
Right.
But I was like, I did the math and I was like, how much power am I saving?
Right.
So that one fell pretty quick. And then the same thing with as I started to add more devices, when you add your Roombas and your what are they called? Smart speakers, made by Google.
Oh,
Yeah, I think.
you got Alexa.
Yeah, Alexa. You add your Alexas, and you just continues to add and add and add and add and add. You start to forget, and you start to. It's just hard to keep track of it. So even me, a person with ample COVID time on my hands, could not get it right. So I would just caution, be cautious, because every one of those devices, like your smart fridge, could be that pivot point, or somebody can get in there and just adjust your temperatures. Like now your milk is bad because somebody felt like being a jerk.
Right.
Like everything you add to your network now becomes a vulnerability. So I thought that was pretty cool. And as well as clever. Like who thought, like, you know what, I'm gonna get in through the fish tank. Like they probably found, I don't think the fish tank was the first way in. They probably got in a different way, and they found that the fish tank was not being patched. They're like, oh, this is where we do the advanced persistent attack. From here, we're gonna do it from here, from the fish tank. They'll never suspect it.
Yeah.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah, I think it's clever. I think I have to imagine that, I don't know. I'm just thinking that majority of these IoT devices that are getting compromised, I'm thinking they have to be like something local, because unless somebody's actually getting into the network ahead of time, or like they're tunneling into the network from like another point, like if say like, Russia or somebody's trying to get to your IoT device, it's like they have to get into the network first before they get the IoT device, unless they have some sort of like local, like, I don't know, hotspot or something to connect to. It's like so I'm thinking like in a casino situation, I'm sure there's somebody in a casino that's walking around, like had like a laptop or something, or even
like
in their
like
home.
what's that called? War driving?
Yeah,
like
war
you
driving.
walk around looking for a hotspot. Yeah.
Right. You look for hotspots, and I know these IoT devices kind of put out like a signal. They put out like a, you can connect to me, or I'm a device on the network that's sending data. So I'm sure they just walk around with some. You might even do from a smartphone. I believe people have like hacking tools on their smartphone. You can walk around like you're just looking at some pictures on your Facebook or something, and all of a sudden you're hacking to this fish tank that's connected to a database with all kinds of monies, and now you're rich beyond all beyond all measures. So I just like think that it's kind of interesting, and I think it's like something you got to look out for. And I think that, like I said, I think a lot of it's probably these local guys guys or girls walking around trying to connect to your IoT device. Because unless their network's wide open and people just tunnel right in, they must be like just walking right beside it and like, oh, let me connect to this real quick. So I don't know. It's just a thought of mine, because maybe that can alleviate maybe Shannon's concern somewhat. If no, he's like, nah, I ain't doing that.
I doubt it. I still talk crazy, So.
Right.
I like how you said earlier. You said it in case the law enforcement misconstrues something you said when you're saying stuff that is already construed.
That's how it goes, Like, no,
yeah, I know your shady background. No, Trevor.
That's not what I meant when I said I'm a beat it up. You know what I mean? I mean something
when I said take care of Johnny, I didn't mean take care of Johnny.
Right. But yeah, so that is my ultimate goal, though, is once I find the time, which that's always the cop out. So once I get past that cop out, once I do something better with my time, be more efficient with my time, the plan is to segregate my entire network. So smart devices, different categories, different VLANs, and then ultimately put a firewall on the house, so that way I can regulate all traffic in and out. So that is the plan. But again, if somebody's inside your network, let's say you have somebody who stops by, you should know who's going to stop by your house, though. But if you have just one network with no guest network, like some people segregate their network to be, this is my main network, this is my guest network. No, I don't do that, but I should. If they come in hot to the real network with their IoT device, I'm compromised again. Like you just have to do so much work to protect your network. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But
yeah.
But I love me those smart devices, though, man. So
yeah. And I'm just like you too. I'm pretty lazy about that guest network. I've never used one, but I guess at the same time, I don't really have anybody over that's like questionable or like, oh man, they get onto they get my password and all of a sudden, something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Normally it's just
I
like,
would. I would hope you're not giving anybody your Wi-Fi password that you don't trust. You know what I mean?
right,
Like that's the
right,
hope, right? But
Yeah.
yeah,
That
yeah,
is the hope. But they
right,
become a pivot point though. Like what if their smart whatever they came
right.
in, let's say their
Smart
Fitbit's
password,
compromised. Like
right,
now, but again, I'm not as important as a casino. So there's that
right,
as well. Like nobody's trying to hack me to get millions of dollars. Like they might just want to mess with me in the middle of the night, cut my lights on and off because they're
right.
jerks. So that'll probably be the worst of it.
Yeah,
But good talk. I think this was a good one. So maybe we'll come back to this once somebody else gets hacked, like someone else important gets hacked over a Roomba or a bird feeder or something ridiculous on their network. But with that being said, I'd like to shout out to my co-host. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, LeVon. It's always an interesting topic, interesting conversation. All of you out there listening, please continue to listen. Hit up the website, www.theothersideofthefirewall.com, where you'll see that we have a Facebook group. You can join and talk to us, as well as you can hit me up personally. You can find me at Twitter, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, IG, and TikTok at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. And LeVon,
hit me up on the Twitters at LeVon Maynard.
there it is. So yeah, please ask us questions. We have a weekly segment where I call Ask Us SP, where you can ask me anything. You could be on the C-suite senior level, but most people who contact me are usually those people trying to break in IT or cybersecurity. I love answering questions, but anyone is free to ask a question. Maybe I have an answer for you. So hit me up. Peace.
Take care, everyone.